Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Twitter and looking at it as whether it is a buy right now or if it isn't, especially with everything that's going on with Twitter. If we look here, it dropped from $56 all the way down to 46. It's what it's trading at now, 47, and it touched 45 a while back. Now, if you don't know what's going on with Twitter, well, basically it's Twitter banned Trump, as we can all pretty much see, and they ended up losing $5 billion in market value after permanently banning Trump from the platform and just using Twitter as a whole. Now, in my opinion, I think this is an extreme overreaction. I do not think that this is going to long term affect the company as much as people think, and I especially don't see it affect taking 5 billion out of market cap. Now, the reason why people are seeing this change is because many people believe that a lot of users are going to stop using the platform and a lot of users are going to leave with Trump since he got banned. However, with it being only about, I want to say like a couple days, like 10 or more, where Biden is taking office anyways, I don't see it being that big of a deal. And I think we're just going to brush it off as we did this big last move right here and just recouped everything to all times high, basically. Now, if we look at Twitter as a company, in my opinion, just go through TD Ameritrade website and you can just look at the fundamentals. I mean, the company's doing pretty great. This isn't Twitter, sorry. I have Apple pulled up. Let's go to Twitter real quick. We have Twitter here. The company itself is doing pretty great. I mean, in the last 60 days, it's still up 8.2%, which that's pretty good considering this big drop it had. And I think this drop was long time overdue, as it's a correction in the market, as you can see in this trend line right here. It's just following the trend so far. It hasn't broke it, and hopefully it doesn't break it. I mean, it tested it here when it dropped all the way to 45, bounced right off of it. Let's see if it retests it, and then we'll go from there. However, fundamentally, I mean, the company, their cash and short-term investment is growing, their total revenue is growing, and total cash from operations is a little bit stagnant, which I don't worry too much about it. As long as I see revenue growing, it's what I really like in the company. And more so than that, this 70, almost 71% held by institutions. If institutions are still holding on to the company, it's really, really good for the long term, especially when that percentage is so big. Now, let's see why I say that I personally believe it's a buy, whether you're adding it to your long term or you're looking to essentially make a short term trade on it. Your downside potential is very, very limited. I mean, no matter where you buy in, you see it following the trend line very, very comfortably. So you just make sure you set a stop loss in the 44, 43 range possibly. However, if you want to start taking a starter position here, as it's been showing a little bit of a rebound, then it fell today. However, it's still somewhat holding. There's still someone holding that 45 range. We haven't really seen that huge. It sold off everything yesterday, but we haven't seen like another huge sell-off as it did before. But the trend line is showing that it's holding up so far, and it's been very consistent on that trend line, and it's basically on the RSI reaching oversold territory. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically whenever the RSI is oversold, that means a lot of people are about to start buying back into it because the company is undervalued in a way, or way too many people have sold, where it's like, okay, we need to take advantage of this. So, again, I think it would be wise to start taking a starting position here, or just start getting into it, and your downside is fairly nothing. Let's say maybe $2 downside per share as compared to about 10 on the upside if it goes back to all times high, which if we keep up with it did it last time. It fell, it had this huge fall, this huge correction, and slowly started rising, and it went from basically 40 all the way up to 56. So it looks like this 40 range, it tends to hold very well, and we saw it back here as well. It held in the 40, 38 range. I'm just going to say 40 just to ease it up a little bit, but it's really 39 range. And let's see what it does. I personally think it's a good buy, whether it be for long term or just swinging it. Personally, I'm going to swing it just because I'm still scared of exactly what everything's going to go on with regulations, although I believe it's just going to get brushed off and move on like every big news comes. It is a little, I will say it's a little worrisome that the company's getting into politics, because usually when companies start getting into politics, you start seeing this in their stock price because investors don't like it, because it creates an uncertainty around the company and what their next move may be. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So do with the information what you will. Personally, I think it's a good buy, and I will be buying into it. I haven't taken a starter position yet. I just want to make sure I get, if I see it, if I can get it closer to support. However, I do think it is worth looking at and keeping an eye on it, at least adding it to your watch list. Again, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day and good luck in your investments.